During a meeting between Premier Doug Ford and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last week, the Ontario Premier said the federal government should be reimbursing the province for the cost of accommodating the recent influx of refugee claimants. Illegal border crossing into Canada has gone from being almost a non-issue, with roughly 400 claims being made in the last 3 months of 2017, ballooning into a major one. By the end of 2017, over 18,000 people had filed a refugee claim after crossing the border illegally into Canada. It's also worth noting that the vast majority of people making these claims, more than 75%, originate from two countries, Haiti and Nigeria. The federal government can't keep up with processing of so many new refugee claims. Backlog, schmacklog, you may say, but this means that, people applying for refugee status overseas. In other words, people facing immediate threats of violence, people living in ongoing war zones, etc., are now facing an ever-increasing wait time for their applications to be reviewed. According to the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada, or IRB, as of February 2018, the average wait time for the processing of a refugee claim has now reached 20 months. How can we justify slowing down the refugee process for such an extent for someone trying to flee, physical danger overseas in favor for someone who was just walked here from New York State? And personally, I don't think it's unreasonable for the Premier to push the Prime Minister on this issue then, especially since, this. Correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation and all, and obviously Trump's ascension to the throne and general disposition on immigration speaks to this chart as well, but I think we know which level of Canadian government sent the original message that Canada would be lax about illegal border crossings. Toronto Mayor John Tory's office has said that the total cost for the City of Toronto will reach $64.5 million by the end of 2018. That's nearly 6 times the $11 million the federal government had promised so far for the province as a whole. But Trudeau seems to be unconcerned, or at the very least pretty nonchalant, about the financial burden this influx is putting on provinces, especially given that these are people walking into our country getting services after leaving another country that really is, despite what media's constant Trump scaremongering might have you believe, safe. And like I said earlier, the vast majority of claimants are originally from Haiti and Nigeria. Both of these countries have crises, sure, but there are far more dangerous places in the world at the moment. And that's not just me saying that. Of the 1,074 refugee claimants from Haiti processed by the end of March 2018, less than 10% had been accepted, while Nigerians were slightly higher with 34%. The vast majority of claimants processed thus far are not in need of asylum, according to the IRB. Okay, look, we can't turn people back at the border. The law is as it is at the moment, and we have to consider every refugee claim as it comes. The federal Conservatives have proposed that we declare the entire border a point of entry to the country, which would at least hypothetically allow police to turn people back to the United States. And this isn't a bad idea, honestly, and would at least prevent future crossings, assuming Trump agrees to take them back, that is. But the larger point that this tiff between the Ontario and federal government highlights is that Trudeau needs to start addressing this issue head on. If the federal government can't or won't stem the flow of illegal border crossers, that's on them. And Ford's demand for more support from Ottawa is completely legitimate.